Hi, a few faces I recognize here in the audience. My name is Christian, and I work as head of a unit in the city of Malmö. With basically, it's developing new stuff, new methods, new ways of how should I put it? New ways of controlling the system, the traffic system in the city, broadly speaking. But when I first was asked to give a presentation here about defining the needs, I'd say we're entering this this project from a slightly different angle, because I don't know if you've seen this picture. It's one of those internet pictures which are readily available. It shows you how people can see a specific project. It says here, I don't know if you can read it, how the customer explained it, how the project lead understood it, how the analyst designed it, how the programmer wrote it, how the business consultant described it, and so forth. And this is also why I'm afraid of defining the user needs, because I think it is as difficult as this image shows. Nevertheless, I'll try to make some points from our perspective as city planners. As city planners and visitors or citizens in a city, we have some shared needs or the things that attract us, the things that we want, why the city attracts us and why we want to go there and live there. And this is a very famous plaza in Siena in Italy, which is often used as a good example of why the city attracts people. It is, of course, the architecture. You have a good scale in terms of the building heights. And you have safety. There are no cars, or there you have some lorries there, of course, for goods transportation. But basically, it's a good place to be. And we share this. The citizens and the planners, we share this vision. Not everyone can specify that this is their vision, but I think when we go there, when we experience it, we feel that this is what the city is about. And so I will talk now a bit about what the public wants when it comes to city life. They want safety. They do not want to be hit by cars. They do not want to inhale fumes or pollution. They do not want to be abused or assaulted. Things like that. It's rather common sense, right? They do not want to experience noise. These kinds of things. They also want comfort. They want some place to sit. They want to be able to move about in a steady pace. They do not want to run or stand still for hours on end, sitting in a car, for example. You want the pace to be, smooth. And lastly, you need enjoyment, and it could come from a lot of different places. Of course, shopping is a major focus point for the city centers, but I believe even more importantly so is culture, and that could come in many forms. It could come in galleries and architecture and street art, as this is an example of. I don't know if you see the image. Well, it's a tree and a wall in front of the tree that has been painted. So people come to the city for that, because it has a critical mass of all these things in one place. fairly simple perhaps, but it is difficult to achieve. And the planner wants what? The planner wants a lot of things, of course, as do the visitor to the city. But I've tried to narrow it down to knowledge, capacity, and compliance. And compliance sounds dreadfully boring, doesn't it? Compliance, but it means keeping the speed limit, of course, stop where the traffic sign is red. It means do not bike on the pedestrian side of the road. Well, things like that. Pay for your trip if you go by bus, for example. We want a lot of these things because otherwise you get accidents and you get discomfort, you get people that are angry with each other. And we're also talking about capacity as one of the things we want to achieve. We have nowadays an overcapacity in the road network and with parking lots taken 24 hours. We have 4 times as many parking spaces in Malmö than we have cars registered. But some people experience that there are never enough parking spaces. Have you ever experienced that yourselves, perhaps? Because it's never 2 meters from the destination point. That is never available. You have to perhaps walk 100 meters. That is a dreadful experience for many car users. And one of the things that is also important is more data, more knowledge. You were talking about it, Martin, that we want the customer interaction. Because as city planners, we do not have a client, a paying customer, and the meeting as such. As you have in the buses, you have people walking on board, and you can say hello to the bus driver, as long as you have bus drivers. In the metro system, you usually don't meet the driver. On the trains, you don't meet the driver. But then you have people. What do you call them? Train hosts, something like that. As city planners, we do not have that, not to a large extent at least. We have city stadsvicevärdar, I don't know the English term for it, like landlords for the city. I think we have 12 in Malmö. Have you ever met one? No. So we don't know. We cannot know that much about our customer, so to speak. You're not customers, of course, but in a sense, you're customers to the service we provide. And we want data, more data, because we want to know a few things about who moves about in the city. And it is that everyone should feel welcome in the city. Everyone should feel that the city is accessible to them. And they should feel that all parts of the city is accessible to them. Not just the one spot that their district or their quarter or their building. It's the entire city that should be accessible. We know for a fact that that is not entirely true. There are spots in Malmö which some people try to avoid, and we've made studies, we made surveys where we ask people why do you avoid public transport, for example, during the night? Why do you avoid parks? And what is your opinion about this district? And they are usually quite safe in their own district, but they are they feel very insecure in the neighboring so-called bad district. And we asked around in Skåne as well, and it turns out that the people living in Svedala and the neighboring municipalities, they are very afraid of Malmö. They do not want to go there. Of course, they work there, but they don't want to go there during the night. And we asked the Copenhageners as well, and they feel that Malmö is a very cozy little picturesque city. And so it all depends on where you come from, I suppose. But getting more data is very important to us and it could be about everything. I go back to the first picture about the user needs. We cannot say exactly this is what we want. I could say a number of things. We want real-time information about the traffic situation. We want real-time information about who's visiting the city, how many people are visiting the city, who are the visitors, who are the citizens, what do they experience, mood sourcing, all these sorts of things that you can come up with. We're interested in everything, basically. When it comes to the primary problems we have, it is, I'd say it's noise. We need to combat noise. It's air pollution, and it is capacity at peak hours. And peak hours, I usually say it's between 8 and 8:15. So it's not a big problem in Malmö. But people living in Western Harbour district, they feel otherwise because we have a bit more problems taking people in and out of the Western Harbour district. But basically it's perhaps 8 to 8:30 instead. So when we go to a European context or even a global context, we have no problems. Still, the problems we have, we should address. So anything that can help us solve these issues are very interesting for us. And I cannot tell you how to do it. Otherwise, I'd be doing the developing stuff and not talk about our needs. So this is what we want. Now help us achieve it. All right? Thank you very much.